What up, Bucks fans? We are back. It's Real Bucs Talk. It's a Monday. So that means we are doing a live stream. And as always, I'm Michael Plus. Join us, my co host, Mark Ramirez. Mark, Lightning are up 1-0. I know a lot of fans probably watching that game right now. It's going well. So, first of all, how you doing? Ready to talk some Bucks football?
As always. But I mean, I'm gonna say this out loud. I don't blame them for watching the Lightning game because guess what? So are we currently right now. But yeah, this part of the Tampa theme. Like we're not just Buck fans. Yeah, we're about Buck super fans, but we're also hella big Lightning fans too. So enjoy the game. If you find a way or find time to add some questions to the chat, go ahead and do it. We always greatly appreciate that. But let's talk some Buck football. Well, this is going to go into actually the intermission, so this is perfect timing. So let's do this. So, any big news you want to touch on before I bring up our big topic of debate?
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously the thing with Tom Brady last week on that show. I think we discussed it last week's live stream, but we pretty much found out like it's been. I think there's a couple of different confirmations by different sources, but some say it was the Raiders that was the team that went away from him as far as last minute signing. And then the source that I trust the most says Tennessee Titans, which actually makes sense because you look at the Titans, they had a pretty solid team. And they decided to go with Ryan Tannehill, and that kind of makes sense. It's like, why would you choose him over Tom Brady? But so that was something to look at. It was kind of intriguing. And then also Tom saying on that show that this is pretty much the end, like it's coming to an end as far as his career. So he wants to play a couple more years, but then he's gonna probably hang it up. So
Hold on, elaborate more on that. What do you mean by this? I didn't see this article. Tell me about this.
Well, it was on that show. I don't know if you have HBO, but it's on that show called The Shop, and it was pretty interesting. Good conversation. So it was just like him pretty much saying it. Yeah, my career is going to be ending soon. Like I only have a couple more years, and then that's going to be it. So I thought that was just good stuff there on that on that interview, and then also some like fan news, like training camp. They're gonna have fans back in this in the seats in the stands, but it's only gonna be exclusive to season ticket holders. So I kind of feel bad for like the general public. I wish they could find a way to get people in there too, but I understand it because of COVID protocols.
Okay, I'm kind of I'm just over this COVID protocol crap. I mean, they pushed that down your throat all last year. Okay, so a majority, if not, have that vaccine already. So why is it? This is to me seeming like more of a money gouge thing. Either you're a season ticket holder or you have no access. I mean, you know how many people would just go to training camp with their whole family because it was free.
Yeah.
And now you're charging, or you just have to be a season ticket holder. This is it's getting to be ridiculous now. I mean, that's just a bad move to me. You're trying to open it back up and get everything back to normalcy, and then you do this. That was a shady move, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I feel
is correct, and I think that one is wrong.
Yeah, and I agree, especially because the stadium's sold out. General public not going to really have an opportunity to get tickets unless you want to pay above market price, and it's really expensive. And so yeah, I just kind of feel bad. It's like a double hit to most of the fan base who are not season ticket holders, and they don't really have an opportunity to come out and see their team. So I kind of I disagree with that move. I wish they would have thought about it a little bit more and find a way to at least have one or two practices, or at least a few where everyone can come out and see their team. So
I mean, I can understand this. I mean, I remember some training camps we went to where it was so packed, where like they had to put people on the field. People were getting on the field in between the fields,
right,
because it was so packed because they just needed space. So I can see that. I mean, limiting to a certain number, okay, I can see that. But saying it's only season ticket holders, I honestly would think it's more people who aren't season ticket holders who are going than see
right.
like, right? Wouldn't you think that? Are they going to charge for parking next over there?
Yeah. I feel like you have the resources available. Like you have a stadium where you can, at least have a couple practices over there. And I know they've done in the past where, they've had stadium practices and you can really fill the place up. And I feel like that'd be a great opportunity to, if you're really serious about getting money for charities and stuff like that, then I can understand maybe charging, the $5 and you really gain a profit from that as far as, to the charities that you want to donate to. And, that would just seem like a better cause and a better thought process. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But with the Brady news, I just thought there's a lot of good conversation there. And it just shows that he is committed, I think, to playing out his contract, which is 2 more seasons with us. So I think it's a great opportunity ahead for the Buccaneers.
Absolutely. So talking Tom Brady, I saw this clip on the Pat McAfee show with Scotty Miller. So that's what I wanted to kind of bring up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring this up here. And this is kind of cool snippet. This is something that some people in the chat have been talking about in past live streams. It's more talking about how, what was it? Was it BA's system that Tom Brady just conformed to and it just started to get better throughout the season? Or was it finally BA Leftwich listening to Tom Brady and coming together and actually becoming this offense that we all thought they could have been? And this kind of elaborated more on it. So I'll just shut up and let them talk and let you guys kind of understand a little bit more into what was going on with that offense. Let's hear.
How long do you think that took for either you and Tom or for Tom and most of the offense since he had to learn a new one there? Because people talk about going up to New England and not being able to understand the offense because Tom and the wide receiver and tight end, everybody has to be on the exact same page without really saying anything. Is it similar in Tampa? And how long, like after that bye week, it felt like you guys really started going?
Yeah, 100%. It took a while just for Tom to kind of understand what BA and Byron wanted to do and them to understand what Tom wanted to do. And once they kind of like meshed it after the bye week, because it's hard to figure stuff out when you're just going every single week. But once you get time to settle in, you can figure stuff out. So once that bye week hit, Tom really drove home stuff he wanted to do. BA, they came together, had a great plan. All us receivers understood what spots we were good at and what we were going to be playing going forward. We just rolled from there. We saw bits and pieces of success before the bye week, but then after the bye week, I mean, we were rolling every single game.
So, I mean, just think about that. It was literally, they didn't have time to add things during the season before the bye week, obviously, because it's week to week. You're just trying to win games. You don't have really time to sit there and say, oh, how can we break it down more? How can we isolate matchups? Where can we get better, right? It's not self-evaluation. It gets continuously evaluating the other team to try and get better, to beat them.
Right.
The bye weeks where you actually self-evaluate. So I thought that was kind of cool and letting people more know what's going on. What was your take on that?
No, you're right. I mean, it's a week-to-week league, and it's very much so. It's always on the move. You're trying to make adjustments. You're trying to make corrections throughout that week. But you also, I mean, the Bucs' struggles was they had a quarterback who was learning the offense. He didn't really grasp it until, we hit that bye week and he could really see what, he was missing on. Yeah, he had stretches where he was going really well. And then you saw some inconsistencies. We saw that with, the Rams and the Chiefs games, obviously the Saints game. Just nothing really clicked. But yeah, once they get into the bye week and they saw what they were doing and saw, what they needed to fix, and yeah, everything clicked after that. But yeah, I mean, everything's moving so fast. And it's really hard to really sit down and take the time to really, think about what's going on with the offense until you have that bye week where you can really study it and really perfect it. And once they did, I mean, it was lights out.
Right. Like Scotty Miller kind of elaborates a little bit more on that here, and it's always good to hear it.
How big of a change was it? Did you have to almost like learn a new playbook? Like, what was the change really?
Yeah, I mean, like some of the plays we were running during camp and like some of our basic plays we weren't going to run anymore, and we're going to install some of Tom's stuff. But we still had like the basics of the offense was still.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool also that he said the basic stuff they threw out, and they're like, okay, we're going to add this in with Tom's stuff. I think that's kind of cool. Again, like BA and Leftwich listening. Like, okay, Tom, I guess your 20-something years has some warrant, some weight to it, right? So let him keep talking.
BAs and Byron's and that whole philosophy. And like you saw, like go deep before halftime. That's their philosophy. Let's take shots, which I love. It's perfect for a guy like me. But then we also like so many more checks at the line because before we didn't.
Oh, before we even talk about that, checks in the line, is that a good thing? Plus,
oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, you saw that as they progress again, motion and play action, audibles, and I think again it goes back to Tom just learning the offense. He really didn't have an opportunity to make the right checks because maybe he didn't have the place to go to memorize or down or like he usually he does. So that's what makes it so fun this offseason because he's going to know the offense and a lot of things are going to be a lot crisper and more effective, and execution I think is going to be at a very good level.
Right, especially you're under the ropes, kind of understanding where everyone's at. The receivers already knew where they were supposed to be. It's more Tom making his checks and them understanding that. Let's keep
going. Yeah, I was kind of just like line up, read the defense, and do your job. But then Tom was really, trying to figure out man or zone and get a lot of indicators like quarterbacks do. Like I'm sure you saw Peyton, he was the master of that. So just kind of implemented that type of stuff. And once we did that, I mean, we were very difficult to stop.
So I mean, that's just kind of going. Yeah, they're going to talk about something else, but touching on that, like he mentioned, the motions helping out read the defense better. When BA and Leftwich's scheme it was more simplified. Don't move anything. Don't move any parts. Have the quarterback read it post snap. And Tom just said, "Listen, I know my best attribute is reading pre snap and then having a better idea what the hell to expect post snap." And that's a big deal. Where I think maybe people may get mad at us for saying that, or me for saying this. Maybe he was just kind of holding back because of what Winston was. He's just like, okay, let me just not make any moving parts. Let me just make this a simplified thing. See it, throw it. That's it. Because if you have any moving parts, you're going to start thinking too much. A guy like Tom Brady knows what to expect. I mean, you can't really confuse him. It's going to be kind of hard to do it, even though. So he uses that to his advantage. He's moving pieces around. So I don't know why they waited that long, or maybe Tom literally did. He is that gracious of a guy, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe he was just like, you know what? I'll try this. I'll see if I can master it. And if it doesn't, then okay, now I know what things I can add to start attacking the other team, because I know in this system I can utilize this. Maybe it was something like that.
No, that's a good point. I think you're on the right track there because, like I said, Tom, it was a process for him learning the offense. Again, didn't have an off season last year. He didn't have really a training camp, and trying to learn a brand new offense for the first time in 20 years, like that's a big challenge. And he was pretty much, we seen other players say it. They were pretty much on the fly, and that's pretty much what Scotty Miller was saying. Like they were learning, together with Tom, and there was a lot of things that the pace or the timing just wasn't there. And I think it was mainly because not that Tom didn't know where to go with the football. I think it was just understanding, okay, certain guys here, like getting to your second and third reads. And then once he figured out that and the timing got quicker, I mean, we saw the ball get out of Tom's hands. I mean, like it was like a snap of the fingers, very quick. And like you could see he was reading the defense a lot better. Blitzes weren't getting to him, as often, and protection was better. Everything started to pick up because and that goes into the motion, the play action, all that stuff helps a quarterback. So to your point, I think maybe it was a little overthinking by the coaching staff. I mean, we said that last year. They were kind of overthinking it beginning of the season. It's like, you're so good at play action. You're good at two tight end sets and using the motion with receivers. Like that stuff you got to continue to do. They figured that out and they won 8 games in a row? Yeah, 8 games in a row to finish the year. And, Jack Trudel makes a great point, Tom, in no huddle. That's something I think we'll definitely see this season because he knows what he's doing. And yeah, it should be fun.
I forgot a couple points that you were saying, but damn, bless, made me forget now.
Oh, sorry.
No, but more about the system and everything. So I think Tom Brady also motioning things. It wasn't just motioning to see what the defense is doing. He's also motioning like Gronk over to help out with blocking. I mean, it's not just how do I attack downfield. It's also how do I buy myself more time.
Mhm.
So I think Tom just takes it to a whole other level where BA's like, oh, let's just attack downfield. Tom's thinking, okay, I want to attack downfield, but also not lose the ball, not get sacked, protect myself. I think he just took it to a level where he's like, listen, I know you want to attack certain areas, but unless I'm upright, I can't do this. That's why you saw Gronk blocking a lot more. I saw why you saw the checks at the line to running. How often did
Mhm.
we run? We ran a whole lot more.
Right.
I think a lot of that is Tom, and even BA throughout the season said, "Oh no, Tom made that check. Tom made that play." I mean, I it's you don't want to be salivating over, oh, Tom Brady's the GOAT, but I mean, he is. There's
Mhm.
reasons why he's done it so many times in a row. He just does things consistently right. He doesn't
Mhm.
have to be Patrick Mahomes making insane plays. It's just making the simple play simple. Don't overthink it like the Bucs coaching staff does. That's
Mhm.
something where us as fans and y'all in the chat, like we get a little bit scared because sometimes they try and do pretty things. Sometimes they try and beat themselves almost instead of beating the other team. And it's stupid. Like if you have a mismatch, attack it and don't stop attacking it until the other team does something about it. And
Mhm.
you have plenty of mismatches on this team, so continue doing it, please. No
Yeah,
more.
and that adds to, the motioning again. It's like, once Tom understood, how this offense works, he was motioning players to get them in advantage, like, mismatches and that nature. So yeah, it's very good to hear the players talk about that, and I think everyone understood, like, okay, Tom's gonna be fine because Tom wins with his mental side. We all know that. Like, he's not gonna win with his athletic traits.
Yeah.
It's all mental for him. That's how he's the best. He sees things before others see it, and
Yeah.
so once he got up to speed with everything that he needed to do, and like the timing started getting there with the players, and got consistency and just understood they finally understood what their strengths were as an offense. That's when everything started to explode. I think we really saw that, especially in the second half against Atlanta. It seemed like everything started to click that game, and then it was just going on fire from there.
Oh, so I remember the other thing. I remember John Leonard from Pewter Report always asking Leftwich every like post game, "You're great at play action. Why don't you run it? You're tops in the league in play action. Why don't you run it?" And he just came with his same generic repeated answer. And this was all before the bye week. After the bye week, he never really asked it because they were doing it all the time. So it's like that's the part of the Bucks coaching staff that we're scared of. It's like clearly there's something you're really good at and you just don't do it. It took Tom Brady to come in there in the bye week and tell you to, no, we need this. It's working. I mean, I hope they don't start the season off next year back to, oh, let's just do this. Hopefully Tom Brady's feet are that much into the sand, so to speak, that no, we're going to do things both ways, Tom Brady NBA's way / Leftwich, however you want to see it. And it's just a perfect marriage, and we continue on with this path. But before we keep going on, let's actually mention our sponsor. Let's jump over to them. Actually, I'm going to have to jump over there. And, oh, I lied. Now, let's get our sponsor in here. So y'all have heard us talk about them. Symbol, what is that? The stock market for sports. I mean, it's a cool, awesome concept. We've brought the CEO, owner of all this stuff to kind of talk about it. If you want to go check that out, go check on our channel. Look for Symbol. It's simple. Literally what it is. How does it work? Sports betting is fun. Investing in stocks market and the stock market is great. And Symbol has created a way for you to enjoy both of those at the same time. Only with Symbol, you can trade teams like stocks and earn cash when your teams win. So think about this concept. Find your favorite team. You got the Buccaneers, whether or someone over here was a Dolphins fan. I mean, so, hey, whoever your favorite team is, get it. And what happens when your team wins? You get cash payouts, 50 cents per NFL team. If you're a Magic fan, like from Orlando or something, great. If you're a Rays fan, you get 5 cents per win. So there's 182 or 62 games in MLB season. That's why it's lower. It's just another way to kind of get involved in your team and feel awesome when your team wins. Because, I mean, you're getting win payouts for that. So that's awesome. Then you can trade teams like stocks. Again, if you're one of those traders, do day trading or whatever the heck it is, it brings that aspect into it too. So you can buy low, sell high, sell overrated teams to the market and find hidden gems the market undervalues. And it's a 24/7, 365 day a year thing. And this is cool. I mean, overall, it's a fun concept. So passionate fans can get even more passionate into their team. So if you want to learn more about it, hit that play button on symbol.com, symbol.app, and check it out. I mean, it's something we really liked. If you want to sign up, use our link down below. It's in the description. Help support the channel that way.
Mhm.
But let's keep talking some Buccaneers. Actually, let's go to some questions over here before we go to the next one.
Okay.
Where is it?
Oh, also, guys, on the symbol, I invested a stock in the Orlando Magic, and I'm probably pretty sure it went down because they lost in the lottery. So I'm pretty sure I lost some points. I haven't checked it yet, but I'm pretty sure that declined. But symbol is just a fun way to keep involved with your favorite team. So yeah, be sure to check it out. And like Mark said, use our link. You get a $10 deposit right away by signing up. So very cool. But yeah, let's get some questions in here. I think someone had a trade question.
Who's the first Buck this season to get traded, if any?
Ronald Jones.
Ooh, really? Ouch. Before the season or during the season?
It would probably be during the season. I don't know. That's just one name I'll throw out there just because, again, he's cheap, 1-year deal, a very talented running back, and teams always need running backs. So if they were going to trade him, but that would be with the scenario where Keyshawn Vaughn really comes on and he's like the dude. Like they really feel like he could take over.
That hurt me a little bit. You throw out that fast too. Ronald Jones, running back, USC.
I would say either him or another option would be Leonard Fournette. I could see him being traded too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're talking about it, again, depending on Keyshawn Vaughn, I'm going to stick with Cam Brate.
Yep.
I mean, just because of his contract, because
he's a starter.
He is a starter, and it's like, where do you fit him?
And he's on a 1-year deal too. I mean, they reworked his deal, so I mean, he's making a reasonable amount of money right now, and yeah, he would be a very viable option for some team that needs a tight end, and could be a very valuable option. And maybe get you, I would say, a 3rd to 5th round pick. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, in that fashion, I can understand the Rojo trade more because he can't catch the ball.
Right.
Maybe he comes out and catches a little better, but still, like moving forward, you're gonna have to pay that dude. Cam Brate's already getting paid what he's gonna get paid. He may even take a pay cut next year if he does want to sign back.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. I mean,
yeah.
I just think that based on how packed that room is, I don't see us trading offensive linemen.
Could also, yeah. I mean, you could also say, maybe Antonio Brown could be a trade option. Scotty Miller.
And Tom's gonna say that's my dude. Just leave him alone.
Scotty Miller could be an option. You could look at maybe a Tyler Johnson. I know there was the talk of him maybe being a potential cut, which I don't see, but I know it was just a topic. Like people have to talk about something, but you look at the strength of the receiver, and we just did a film study on Tyler Johnson, so that could be an interesting scenario.
So Raymond Smart, most likely Rojo won't be resigned, so it makes sense for that angle. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we don't like paying running backs either. He's worthy of a giant pay increase. Should we be the team that does that for a one-dimensional type of running back? No.
Yeah.
Especially you draft his replacement, Keyshawn Vaughn. If Fournette continues to do these 1-year deals, you don't really need a lead bell cow in the league anymore. So
No, you don't.
I'm fully with that. And then I like this, Danny over here. What's up, man? Wow. Plus bringing the Thor hammer.
Oh, you know it, man. I was watching Ragnarok the other day, so it's a great movie.
Right. So that's kind of a good question. Bigger ceiling, Lenny or Rojo?
I still feel it's Rojo. Again, if he can just find a way to just be comfortable catching the football and be consistent pass blocking. I mean, the dude's all-star running back as far as running. Like we know he can run. He's good at that. No problem there. It's just the other things to keep him on the field. If he can find a way to be that just a little bit better in those areas, it doesn't have to be great. It can just be average. Like if he's like average to above average, he'd be fine.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, this is going to be year 4, is it? Year 5, year 4.
Year 4, yeah. If he hasn't learned it now, he's not going to learn it, right? So that's yeah.
And then Bud Campbell added, the pass blocking really hurts Rojo. He's gotten better though. He has gotten better. Give him
it's
credit.
Improved. Again, it's still not there. So there's lapses at times. And it almost cost Tom. Like, there was a lapse in the Green Bay game that, caused an interception. So, there's little things that you just got to be a little bit better at. Yeah.
I mean, sell high. It's always a big thing. I mean, we're just literally talking about it with Symbol.
Yeah.
Sell high, right? Especially if he's off to a great start again, and hell, dare I say, like the Titans get a 2-headed monster with him and Derrick Henry, that'd be pretty disgusting. I mean, that's a good running team. Or hell, I wouldn't even mind trading him to the Falcons. That they look like they're going to be a running team they got the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator now, so you never know. But I mean, if someone's willing to give you something of high value, like a high pick or an additional offensive lineman or something that'll help your team, okay, I don't see him trading prior to the season at all.
But
let's see. I mean, this is all a make-believe scenario too. Hell, we could literally go somewhere else later. So you never know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely hypothetical. Personally, I don't feel they'll really, try to trade anyone. They're going to try to keep everyone they can. They want to repeat. So they want to keep the depth as strong as possible because they know, injuries do happen. And let's be honest, we were pretty lucky last year with the injuries. So for the most part, and, they hope that continues and you want to have the strongest team you can. So I think they'll keep, the core together. I don't see them trading any of those kind of pieces that will be critical for them repeating. I could see them maybe adding someone from the outside if it's a potential trade or free agent, depending on who goes down. So that's always a possibility. There's a lot of good free agents still out there. That's what people forget because of the salary cap and the hit it took. There's a lot of good players available still. So you got to remember that too.
I mean, you're dead on about got lucky with the injuries. I mean, Mike Evans' injury right before the playoffs, our last game. I think everyone who saw it was like, oh shit, he's out. He's done. I mean, it looked like it. His knee hyperextended back. It was him planting all his weight onto it. I was like, that don't look too good.
No.
And somehow he literally plays the next week. I don't get it. He's one that literally plays through like almost everything, and it's crazy. I mean, our offensive line itself, I mean, yes, Kappa went down the game before the Super Bowl, but Marpet had a couple games he had off. But there was no huge like layoff of like 6-7 weeks. It was more like 1-2 weeks. People were back. And then Stinney playing in the Super Bowl was insane. Like there wasn't that much of a drop off. Crazy. But yeah, the injuries are a huge concern. That's why you do want to keep everyone. It's hard to do it, but hell, if you're doing it right now, why even bother breaking up a good thing? And if it was a trade, like Bud Campbell was saying here, I think if they do trade, it'd be more towards the deadline. And I think it'd be something small, like how they did with Steve McClendon, a small veteran pickup that they know can fill a void or fill a little spot where they like, okay, maybe we need a little bit more help or more depth. I don't think it's going to be a big, let's trade away for a big piece that we need to make a run at, right? Because we really have all the big pieces.
Yeah. No, I agree there. Let's say, for whatever reason, well, I don't want to put this in existence, so I'm not going to say it. But, yeah, I'll agree. Like if they can find, depth pieces off the street, they're going to do that. And we've seen Jason Light do it before where he gets guys off of waivers, whether it be like a Carl Nassib or, finding a Cam Brate, stuff like that. Adam Humphries a few, years ago. So yeah, I think we're in a great spot. I mean, we said that time and time again, this is a great roster that they put together. Jason Light can't give enough credit to him. I mean, he's been doing great things. I think he's just continuing to get better and better. He's having a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw him on Twitter last night. He was chopping it up with the loose cannons and, talking about their road trips that are coming up. So it was pretty cool to see that. So yeah, he's enjoying life. BA, same thing. So it's a great combination that they have. And, I just can't wait to see. I'm excited for this training camp and preseason to really see these rookies, see who comes up and makes an impact, who, really see like if there is any changes to the starting lineup, or is it going to stay, status quo?
I mean, with Jason Light, I mean, you work hard, you play hard, right?
Yeah.
So, literally keep bringing the roster back. That's working hard. Drafting the way he did, I mean, there's still potential to get better with the draft he just took.
Right.
I mean, it's insane. That's working hard. So right now there's a lull in between the season startup and right now, what's he supposed to do? He has his staff looking at the future and future drafts, looking at, like you just mentioned, there's free agents that are on the cusp, on the wing. Do we have money available? No. But if we did, or an injury happens, who could be our first look at? I mean, I think he's doing what he needs to do. He's just having fun with it. Not necessarily just joking around. He's just, listen, what else is there for him to do right now?
Yeah.
And it's not immature. It's just him kind of going with the fans, actually being involved with a fan base that was away for so long and now is back. Make sure you keep him, right? I mean, what better way than interacting with that fan base? I mean,
yeah, definitely. It's just cool. I mean, he's interacted with us before, and DM and stuff like that. So it's just awesome that, he's a guy that truly cares, and it showed in his just process of drafting people. Like he's find players that really love the game of football. And I think that's been his biggest change since 2016. Obviously that was the dud year, with Vernon Hargraves. Vernon he didn't love football. He thought he was entitled, he was talented, and just didn't work out. And you shift that to 2017 and on, like he really found guys that truly loved the game. And it was just 9 slackers. I love it. Thanks, Raymond. But he just found guys that truly love the game. And you look at this class recently, and you just hear the people talk, the interviews, like Joe Tryon, that guy lives and breathes football. Yeah. Kyle Trask, same thing. Robert Hainsey sounds like a 15-year veteran already. Like the guy just, I mean, typical Notre Dame offensive lineman. And then you look at, Jalen Darden, just nasty dog. Like he wants it, man. And very hungry. KJ Britt, etc. Grant Stewart, can't say enough about that guy. And Wilcox, again, he just very passionate. So I feel like that's been the biggest difference with this team, finding guys that just really love the game, and they just want to be great. And we see that on the field, like this young core that we have. It's coming together.
And these guys know it's a business too. It's not just, I want to be the best. They know, okay, I got to perform, but also win on the field. And it's not just at being the starter at wide receiver. It's being the team player, being the role player, finding where I fit in and doing the best I can at that position. And I think it's awesome that they all bought into that. And then bringing in Tom Brady to it was the perfect marriage. But also, I mean, looking back at Jason Light, like you were mentioning 2016, looking at, right now he's interacting with fans, kind of joking. You saw him drinking during the celebrations, everything, really showing out his emotion, even during like NFL Network show, the Good Morning show. I forgot what it was. But, I mean, during the bad years, you could tell, like literally just the emotion on his face, like he's upset. He knows he wants to win. He's drafting talent. He literally, you could see it, him telling you what he wants. They want he would tell you every offseason, we want players that want to win, that are committed to the game, that love the game more than just thinking it's a profession. Like he literally wrote it out for years and years. And people were like, oh, he's Robert Aguayo. That's all they think of. Roberto Aguayo.
Yeah.
Trash. Get rid of him. And it's like, do you not see what he's putting together? Yeah. the Vernon Hargraves, the Noah Spence. I mean, some of them you got to throw away, right? So no one is 100%. No one, not 100% in anything you do. So he's just taking shots, and the dude just kept getting better and more accurate with his shots, which I thought was awesome. Yeah, so I guess people were saying in the chat about who scored. Yeah, I think it was a Coleman deflection with Gord scoring the goal.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
But Danny Danello, good question or good answer. The running game will be used more this year to control the time of possession in games than jump out on teams as the offense really finds its potential. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, I think we'll have a opportunity to really see the running game work in the second half. And like you said, like Danny says, time of possession. I think that's something they definitely want to do. Keep their defense off the field as much as possible, and really just they're gonna get up early, and then I think grind teams down and really wear them out. So yeah, I think that'll be something of a change. It's kind of like the late '90s, early 2000 Bucks, where they found a way to get that lead and then just hold on. But I think this team will run away from people, to put it in those terms.
I hope it does happen.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, with our roster the way it is, and then the signal caller we have leading these guys, you almost assume that's what should happen. It's not like I hope it happens. It should. Again, it's basing off what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Danny, I'm surprised you didn't chirp in. Maybe you came in later, but we're talking about coaching staff holding us back. Will it just be the BA Leftwich offense, or will it be Tom Brady's union into that offense? We kind of touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't listen, go back, check it out later. But, I mean, I'm hoping that union stays strong. We keep moving forward. Brady keeps doing those checks at the line, motioning, all that fun stuff, because this team could be extremely fun to watch all season long. And we all could be giving high fives, jumping into the crowd. We don't even know who the hell they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that happens. I hope that.
Yeah, and to the coaching staff point, I mean, that's the X factor. It's like, are we going to see going into this season? Are we going to see a lot of runs on 1st and 10 again, and like play that game where just continue to see the same thing? We're running the ball in first down and not using a lot of motion or play action. Not utilizing the tight ends that we have. So hopefully they've learned from that, and they just look at what they did the last 8 weeks, and they can just make adjustments, with that being said, and just continue to stay aggressive in the first half, because they did a lot. Obviously that Detroit game, I just look at that one. I know it was a bad defense, but the way they called that game, that's how they have to play it every week. I mean, come out throwing, come out aggressive, get points early, and then really just take it to them running the football. And I think that's where hopefully they see that and continue to do so.
I mean, let's not forget that we almost gave away that Packers game.
Oh yeah, 3 straight possessions.
Right? If Rodgers actually does run that in, like,
well, Devin White would have killed him. Let's be honest.
Maybe, but maybe his arm breaks off and gets in the end zone. Maybe that could have been a touchdown. You never know.
Right.
But seriously, like we almost gave that damn game away. Yeah, our first half was great, ended off before halftime, like Scotty Miller mentioned before, with a bang. But we literally did nothing that second half, and we're like, oh no, we want you. Try to win. So I mean, there's plenty of room for improvement, and that's a scary thing considering how good we really are.
Right.
There's plenty of room. Like you just said, another year of Tom Brady under the system. Now he can make his checks. Like Jack said earlier, imagine no huddle.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 things, holy hell. I mean, last year could have been a joke compared to what this year could be, especially with 17 games. Holy hell. What numbers can you really throw up? I mean, are we expecting numbers of Brady when he had Wes Welker, Randy Moss, like that type of numbers? Or are we just expecting to win barely? I'm thinking, I don't know if he's to that. Could he ever do that again? I don't know. All the time, Tom Brady defies it all the time. But with this, the way that the trajectory of this should be going and the amount of weapons he has, it's scary. I mean, to me, it really is scary.
Oh yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, no, it is a good way. Yeah, I think the execution, I mean, that's the biggest thing I think we're going to see is just it being more effective, more efficient. And obviously, Tom knowing where he needs to go with the football is going to make a huge help. And obviously, the complement of weapons that we have, the running game, the offensive line being more cohesive. Again, this offensive line now going in pretty much the same unit besides the right tackle, and Tristan Wirfs going into his second year. So, he's going to be better. I don't know how he can be better, but he's going to be better. Same thing with, Alex Kappa, and Alex Kappa is going to continue to grow. And you also have Aaron Stinney, who's going to provide that competition. You got Robert Hainsey, who's going to come in and add some interior depth too. And then also you have your Josh Wells and, a couple other guys, but yeah, it's a good unit. And obviously we see of the, what could be, with OJ Howard, if he's fully healthy, so, and Gronk's going to be more energized and more in shape. So that's going to make a difference. And obviously Cam Brate, he's going to know his role and what he can be. And we saw what kind of weapon he can be used as far as that slot receiver / kind of H-back type of role. Kind of like a Chris Cooley where, you utilize him in motion or utilize him, just in the middle of the field. And Tom loves that. So those things are going to be good. But, just getting to a question up here, talking about the return job. X1K, I don't think we're going to keep 8 receivers. That's not going to happen. I think it's 6. And I think that'll probably be the final number, maybe 7, but I don't think they go that deep. I think it's going to be 6, and Darden most likely is going to be your 6th guy. And I don't see Mickens or Watson, making it. It just, it's a numbers game, and I think they'll feel happy with the other opportunities they could get somewhere else because the depth is just so damn good.
He never did it in college, I don't think. But I mean, could you see Darden? I mean, even trying to be he's not long enough. Never mind. I would say going to be a gunner, but he's not long enough to do it. I think that's more with Wilcox.
He's fast enough. I mean, he's fast enough to, plenty of fast to be a potential gunner. I'm not sure if they'll use him in that role.
It's where's he going to fit? That's the thing. Like to be that low on the roster for a wide receiver, you got to be able to play special teams.
Oh yeah,
it's not just return, but you got to find some way, right?
Same with Tyler Johnson. I mean, he's going to have to really amp his game up on special teams.
Speed isn't his game.
Right. Well, he's going to have to find a way to be on there, whether it's, protection or whatever he's got to do. He's going to have to do it. Yeah.
But that's part of the game within the game. Like the bottom roster, you're going to have to do it. I know we just put a video out on him. Mm-hmm. He's got potential. Let's be honest. Like he's like a mold of like Chris Godwin and more of a possession receiver. Like he's good. I mean,
he reminds me of a quicker Keyshawn Johnson. Not as big as Keyshawn was, but he just reminds me of how he moves, and he's just very smooth. Like it's just effortless in how he moves with his precision and route running. And he's a very smart player. Obviously he has to win with his mental game.
I mean, I remember someone saying pre-draft that he was like a Stevie Johnson.
Okay.
That's a pretty good comparison. Stevie Johnson.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good because he wasn't a speed guy. He was more shifty, can make you miss by route running.
Yeah.
Tyler Johnson has that big time. He doesn't have a breakaway, but he can get open.
Right. I agree.
Zones, like if you guys saw our film study, that man can read a zone, get his head around. Like, again, Tom Brady's throwing this guy the ball with confidence after like the 5th read, knowing he's going to get to a spot. That's telling.
Yep.
Actually, let's go over here. What was this? Johnny Dean, glad to have you part of the chat. Welcome aboard. Plus is 100% right about something. I don't know what the hell it was.
It's probably just the coaching staff and how we need to be aggressive, utilize the play action.
And Johnny again, Howard's the biggest if on the team that everyone always counts as a given.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean,
he's got to prove it
every year. Every damn year he's hurt. Let's see. I can't count how many times Tom ran the hurry up offense and just demolished teams. Not sure about Evans being able to keep up and reading defenses. That's one of Evans' shortcomings. in his opinion. What do you think about that?
I guess he's talking about, potentially Mike getting tired or I think Mike's in great shape this offseason, so I think he's definitely taking better care of his body. Hopefully the hamstring things are, in the past. Reading defenses, I think Mike reads the defense fine. I think he's a very talented receiver.
I think it's more like having them together on what they both see on the field.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yes, Evans did have some lapses. I mean, let me try and think. Remember that the Kansas, I think it was a Kansas City game where he kept going. It should have been a quick turnaround, and he just kept going up, and Brady just threw it to the ground. It was an interception. So things like that. The misfires, the first game of the season against Saints, but again, that's first game.
Yeah.
They got better as the season went on.
I think that comes to this experience. And again, these guys playing together, I think that'll improve. I mean, we already, heard Chris Godwin talk about timing's already better. So I feel like that'll definitely come around.
All right. So, Raymond, who would have thought we'd be in position already to have teams jumping all over each other to claim our waivers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be talented guys let go. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You hope you can hold them all. Practice squad guys. I got to say this, poor Josh Rosen. That dude, everywhere he goes, a better player comes up. Like San Fran claimed him off our practice squad.
Gave him an extension too. They signed him.
Do draft a
Trey Lance. Yep.
Jeez, poor guy.
I think he's fine. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be okay. He's got that
coming here.
Yeah, he's got that contract. He'll be fine. Again, play the Ryan Griffin role. I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
He comes from money. He knows how to invest. He knows what he's doing with his money.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
We talked a whole lot about offense. Let's kind of touch on a little bit of the defense. It was part of the actual video we're showing earlier. Let's bring that up too. Boom. All right, so this is now Scotty, or actually Pat McAfee actually mentioning the defense and how they're probably the bigger, I guess, variable that would put the Buccaneers closer to that undefeated team or undefeated season that a lot of people keep mentioning with this roster. Let's actually talk about this.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Wondered when the evolution would happen. That late bye week, I assume, delayed it a little bit. But on the other side of that thing, you guys were a fucking buzzsaw. And that defense, by the way, your defense is so damn good. I think that's why the thought of going undefeated is real, because your team seems to be absolutely stacked. I mean, that has to be a great feeling,
Yeah, we literally have like a star at like every single position. And then the depth is just tremendous too. They've done a great job drafting. So, I mean, like you said, the Saints game, we were kind of struggling on offense, that playoff game. But our defense had I think 3 picks or something. I mean, they were just constantly giving us the ball back. The Saints couldn't do anything. It was, they did a great job.
So giving homage to the defense, talking up the other side of the ball. And that's literally what they're saying. Like, we talked a whole 48 minutes about this offense. But the defense is always we did.
Yeah.
Literally what won us the Super Bowl, to be honest. I mean, you hold Patrick Mahomes, the best offense in the league, just behind the Raiders or the Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But probably the best quarterback of today, baby goat, as they call him, to 9 points. Didn't even score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't do that. The defense did that. And they still are going to get, they're not that good. You can still attack them. Secondary sucks. But they're good.
Yeah. No, the defense is good to potentially great, and they have a chance to be great this season. I think from the start to the end, especially look at Devin White, and we'll probably have a film study coming on him soon. I mean, he's legit. The leap that he's taken, him and Levante David together. We already done a film study on Levante. I mean, just showing how good he is, how quick they are. They just cover so much ground. They are erasers out there, and they really make this defense go. Obviously, with them two and then Vita Vea right there in the middle, it causes a lot of havoc. You have him and Ndamukong Suh, and then you just have the edge rushers that just eat because they're single matchups like, JPP and, Shaq Barrett. And I saw, someone on YouTube said JPP is going to get 100 sacks. I mean, yeah, he'll probably get it this year. What does he need? 11?
11.
So, yeah, very possible he gets it, especially if Vita's in there healthy. And then, the secondary, I know there's a lot of, you know, critical thoughts on them and like, a lot of comments and a lot of, things. Okay, they could be better at this, but that secondary unit is very fast and very, very athletic and long, and they make things difficult. And they got better as the year just continued to progress. And I think once they went after the bye week, I mean, everything clicked and they were playing lights out. Playoffs, they were outstanding. Really, they didn't have a bad game in the playoffs, I don't think. So, yeah, defense. The defense should be talked about a lot more because they're gonna take this team to where it needs to be.
I think the only game that I thought they should have been better was the Washington football team game. I mean, I was like, we're letting this guy that literally has never started a game just throw around all over us. And he did make some good throws. I'll give him that. But like, come on, guys, get in there, do something. He was more mobile than who we face. But other than that, I mean, the defense stepped up, did their job. That was without Vita Vea, though, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So he is really that big of
also
a
without Devin White, and it just shows you how Devin White is so critical. Just what he does. I mean, if Devin White's in there and it's not Kevin Minter, the quarterback probably gets killed in that game, and he probably doesn't make as many plays. So yeah, those are two big pieces. I mean, you have those stars in there.
Get all the damn defense.
Yeah, I mean, it creates everything for the secondary. And yeah, there were some miscommunications in the secondary in that Washington game for sure. But you saw they locked it in when they went against the Saints, and it was dominant. And then Green Bay, they made big stop after big stop when they had to, especially in that second half when there was 3 straight turnovers by the Bucs, and making those key critical stops. It's why. And then the Super Bowl, they had their best game ever. They put everything together, dominated an offense that couldn't do shit against us, and it was fun to see. I mean, Patrick Mahomes running for his life, literally, and just couldn't do anything.
I mean, it was a perfect storm. Like, we have 2 great edge rushers, and they had no offensive tackles to block them. And then, not to mention, Vita Vea and Sue are pushing the middle of the pocket. There was just nowhere for them to give Mahomes any protection. And then they just drop balls that would hit him in the hands or in the helmet. So it was a perfect storm. Don't get me wrong. Like, they did their job. That's all you ask any player to do. Just do your job. And that defense did it. Like, Mahomes was not comfortable at all the whole damn game. Loved it. You can only imagine them. 2-1 lightning up. Oh, I guess he scored. But I mean, the thing to me is, if anyone in the secondary takes another step up, I mean, Carlton Davis, I don't know if he can take another step up because he was pretty damn good last year.
Yeah.
If he takes another, it gets even better. It'd be insane. SMB, Jamel Dean, they both are. We just put another Jamel Dean film study up. They get better. Think about it. I think, to me, I've been saying it, pounding the table for him. Antoine Winfield Jr. I think he's just going to make an insane rise and literally prove the NFL how good of a player he is, how heady he was in the first season. And like, if you guys are watching the current from the Buccaneers media staff, he dislocated his shoulder, I think the Denver game, and played throughout the season with something like that. I mean, feeling like it's going to pop out all the time. That's awesome. And imagine a whole year again, like Tom Brady had learned the offense. Winfield Jr. had to learn the defense and the speed of the game in the NFL. And now he knows it. Now he knows his defense. Now it's just, how can he play with the other team? How can he play with the quarterback? Oh, I'm going to go over here. No, I'm not. I'm going to rush in. No, I'm going to drop back and pick off your ball. Like, I'm seeing him doing that. Like, he's going to take the stuff he did in college, roaming all over that center field area, and just bring it to the NFL. I feel like that's truly what he's going to do, and you're going to see some spike up, especially with Devin White getting better. I've never been more proud to say I was wrong about a player. and with Devin White. I mean, that dude just keeps getting better. I mean, who the hell expected him to be that good in coverage in a playoff run?
Yeah,
Insane.
not me. I mean, yeah, I guess we can't doubt LSU linebackers anymore. I mean, we try to doubt Kendall Beckwith, and then we try to doubt Devin White, and it's like, no, they're good. Jason Light knows linebackers. He drafted 2 again this year. They're probably going to be studs. So, we did film studies on them, and we're like, oh, well, they can't do this and they can't do that. Well, no, it doesn't matter. They're going to be good. And I know people are talking about Joe Tryon.
Yeah.
Just wait and see. I mean, yeah, he's going to be just fine. And that's another athletic freak that you're adding to the rotation that, I mean, he's going to face a lot of single matchups and have opportunities to just come on blitzes and be untouched. So it's going to be fun to just watch him play. Him in the run game, he should be fine. I don't think that'll be an issue. Pass rush, again, the arsenal is going to have to pick up and it's going to have to be developed. But he's learning from the best. And I think he's got a great opportunity, low key, to have a very good year in his rookie season. So he'll have a lot of opportunities.
And so, actually, German English said Tryon hasn't played football since 2019. Honestly, I'm not impressed so far. Maybe he'll be a baller. If you haven't seen our film study of him, go check him out. We did 2 of them, actually, before the draft and then after. Because I mean, this is one of the guys we really liked going into the draft. Usually, if we like a guy, we're gonna pound the table really hard for him. And like he's good. Let's put it that way. He brings that speed to power game. I mean, he's long. There's nothing he can't do, really. It's just an athletic molded body where mold him how you want to. And this is a perfect situation, learning by JPP and Shaq. Technicians like that, athletic freak like JPP, mold him into a great pass rusher. He doesn't have to be thrown into the fire to go get 10 sacks right now. So he can sit, learn, and like you just mentioned earlier, like he's got the mentality that he's learning. He's knowing, I want to get better, not just I want to be a star right now. So many guys come in with that mentality, like, oh, I'm going to do this. It's great to have confidence. It's more of a plan to get to that point. I don't like the overly confidence without knowing your plan of approach to get better.
Yeah.
That's blind almost. So sometimes, like with Jameis, like, oh, we do our job, we're going to win. I'm like, blind thinking. Like, see what the other team's doing and kind of beat that. Right? But that's just me.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, the more people, to me, Grant Stewart is even more
It's
more valuable even with being Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, yeah, let's see what these linebackers can do. Like you mentioned, Jason Light knows linebackers. We've seen it over time. It's crazy.
Yep.
Johnny Dean, the development staff BA has put in place here should get a ton of respect for getting these guys all on track ahead of schedule. Take that one.
No, I agree. And that's why, I've talked a lot about Keyshawn Vaughn. I just feel like he's going to be that guy that takes that step that they're looking for. Hint, hint, he'll be our next film study. So be on the lookout for that. That should probably be dropping hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to get that out as soon as possible. But with that said, yeah, I feel like the staff, the large amount of people they have on staff, I think is a benefit. Again, being able to run those 2 practices that they like to do. And I think they'll probably do that again this year, and being able to get 400 reps with guys that usually don't see the field. I think that's a big benefit because it builds your depth. So yeah, I mean, it's going to continue. You're going to see the process continue to get better. And with these players continuing to grow, and you're seeing a foundation being built. Like, players are going to leave, but then the next guy that steps in, he's going to be ready to go and be a stud. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm waiting for other teams to start taking what we do. Like the amount of staff that the Buccaneers have, how big it is, and then how many practice fields they have, they try and use, right? It's insane. So, I mean, I'm seeing, like, usually this is a copycat league, not just on the field, but they're going to look organizationally. Why are they succeeding? Oh, let's take that coach. Let's take this GM. because they're doing something right. So teams will probably start inheriting this. Well, hey, let's see.
Mhm.
Yeah, Johnny Dean had one more. Plus, you guys have film study on Wilcox, or just haven't seen anything on him. Yeah, we did. Yeah, plus kind of put it up. It's on our channel.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
just go.
again, there wasn't much tape on him. It was hard to find tape. You had to go back to like 2017, 2018 to really find games where he played significantly. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, he's a guy that has a lot of length, a lot of speed. There's a lot there to work with, but it's going to take time and development. Again, he's going to be a special teams guy first and foremost. That's where he's going to make the team if he does. It's the same thing with Grant Stewart, KJ Britt, those guys. They have to be special team aces in the hole, pretty much.
I mean, adding about special team ace and stuff like that. So we're talking areas where we can improve. So Danny's kind of adding to it. Wait till the special teams plays better than last year. Coverage was lacking. Again, like you just said, special teams aces. You got to be able to make tackles, especially against the Saints, who Ira Kaufman always likes to tell EA we don't do well against them. And hopefully Jalen can start the offense in a better position. So punt returns, kick returns, can he improve in that department? But also, can we improve in like against blitzes, especially against the Chiefs, who look like trash against them? Against the Saints, like, can we prevent these short little dump passes over and over and over again, where the outside linebackers remember to get to those zones and eliminate those short passes, not have a 3-yard pass go for 15 yards. Like, there's little spots where this team can clean up a lot and they can get so much better. And it's, again, I've just mentioned earlier, it's scary to think, but there's a lot of areas where go back and look at our film studies of like our week against the Bears, where we got beat because we're dumb. It wasn't the Bears did anything special. They just continued to do the same thing, and the Bucs didn't have an answer for it. Or we're dumb and they didn't get there at the right time. Another dumb loss. Like the Chiefs, like how many times they're on our third downs, or third and short, we're doing long passes or trying to go for mismatches that aren't there. It's like there's a lot of areas they can improve.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, 17-0, let's not look at that. Let's just look how we can improve gradually, even though 17-0 does sound badass.
Oh, for sure. It's a process. Again, this is a week-to-week league. And I think Chris Godwin said it. He's like, that's not our goal to go undefeated. Our goal is to win another Super Bowl. So, finding a way to get into the playoffs, get into the dance, finding a way to be your best self, heading towards that championship game. That's what's most important. If undefeated happens, then it happens. But again, it's not going to be on their mindset. That's not the end all be all. Again, it's getting that second ring, maximizing this opportunity that you have in front of you. And, obviously I think they're very committed. They're hungry. They're seeing what Tampa's doing. I mean, we see the Lightning right now going for their second Stanley Cup in a row. The Rays, balling out again, trying to win their first championship or, get back into that position. So there's a lot of things going on where, they see the opportunity. They see what's in front of them. They know they have Tom for only, a few more seasons. Now's the time to maximize it.
Oh, so this is kind of funny. X_1K said the Giants game was infuriating too. That we won the game barely, but we won it. So it's stuff like that. You can learn from where you barely got over, or the Saints where we got slaughtered. Learn all these stupid little plays that you gave up chunk after chunk. So many areas where we could have been so much better. We got slaughtered that game. That was embarrassing. We still won Super Bowl 8 in a row.
Right.
Let's see. Permission talking other stuff.
It's no surprise, man. There's always going to be those haters, and NBC. This is their last year of covering the NHL, and a lot of these guys they hate Tampa. Like they can't stand a Florida team being where they are, being in this position. They want to see the North teams. They want to see the Canada teams in there. So yeah, definitely they're going to cheer for Montreal.
And it's so sweet. We could I'm surprised with that. I wonder with that, like the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
We're up 8-0. We won the game 8-0.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I didn't listen because it was already bloodbath, but I can only imagine what they were saying. It's so dumb.
Oh, they were saying like, oh, if the Islanders do this, they can get back into the game, stuff like that. They were just continue to go on, but yeah, fun times.
I mean, this small market crap is going to be stupid. Like, are we really that small of a market? Maybe the Rays because they just can't get busted in the
Well,
stands.
the Rays are just in a bad location, but people watch the Rays. I mean, they're one of the most watched teams in baseball, so it's the fans are there. Again, that's a whole another subject we could go on for hours, but yeah, I mean, it's a fun time to be here in Florida and cheer for these teams because this is just the start. Like we haven't seen anything yet.
It's fun,
Yeah.
fun, guys.
Yeah.
But with that said, let's call it now so we all can enjoy the third period together. But on that, guys, thank you so much for the interaction, talking it up with us, kind of going over again the Tom Brady relationship with BA and Leftwich, the defense, all these points, and yeah, this is a long off season. Hope we can get some more guests involved too, talking up stuff. If you guys have any ideas, always write us. Give us some comments. Give us your feedback. What do you want to see? What do you want us to break down a little bit more? We always take your points and kind of bring it into the show or into our channel. So please help us in that way. I mean, anything you guys say, we take into consideration. But with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Pless. But enjoy that Lightning game.
Yeah, I agree with what Mark said. Again, we appreciate all the support. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Give us that like button. Again, comment what you think down below. We love hearing from you guys, and we try to interact as much as possible as we can. So again, thank you guys. Everyone have a great night. Let's go Lightning, and until the next one.